What if the moment you thought you were someone's secret, you discovered you were just one of many? This is not a fairy tale. This is not a story about revenge. This is a raw, unfiltered confession from a man who believed he was special, until one night proved he wasn't. He won't tell you her name. He won't tell you where it happened. But he will tell you what it felt like to stand outside a half-closed door and hear the truth unravel in real time. If you're drawn to stories about desire, deception, ego, emotional games, and the dangerous thrill of forbidden connections, then you're in the right place. This isn't just about cheating. It's about illusion. It's about pride. It's about what happens when you realize you were never the exception, only an option. Stay with me. And if you crave mature, gripping, emotionally intense stories that don't hold back, make sure you subscribe. Because this is only the beginning. I had always believed betrayal came with warning signs. A change in perfume. A hesitation in touch. A subtle shift in the way someone says your name. I was wrong. It happened only once. That's the part people don't understand when I tell this story. They assume there must have been a long pattern, a series of red flags, weeks of suspicion. There weren't. There was only one moment, one single, irreversible moment, that shattered the illusion I had built around us. I won't tell you her name. Not because I'm protecting her husband. He still doesn't know. He probably never will. I'm protecting myself. She was married when we met. I knew it. I wasn't naive. I told myself it was harmless, two adults finding comfort in each other. We met at a networking event downtown, the kind where people hold wine glasses and pretend to care about business cards. She laughed at one of my sarcastic comments about corporate ambition, and that laugh stayed with me. It wasn't loud or dramatic. It was low, intimate, like a secret shared between two people who already understood each other. We began with messages. Long ones. The kind you write late at night when the world is quiet and honesty feels safer in the dark. She told me about her marriage, how he worked too much, how he treated love like an obligation instead of a desire. I told her about my loneliness, though I never admitted how much of it was self-inflicted. When we crossed the line, it felt inevitable. She told me she was careful. She said she had rules. She said this wasn't about replacing her husband. It was about feeling alive. I convinced myself I was special. That illusion lasted 3 months. The night it happened, I wasn't supposed to be there. She had told me she was busy. A vague word that should have been enough. But something in her tone lingered in my mind all evening. Not guilt. Not exactly. More like anticipation. I drove past her apartment complex without planning to. That's what I tell myself, anyway. I saw her car. I saw the lights on. I saw another car I didn't recognize. It could have been anyone. I walked up to her door. I don't know what I intended to do. Knock? Surprise her? Confront her for nothing? The door wasn't fully closed. Just slightly ajar. And I heard her laugh. Not the laugh she used with me. This one was breathless. There are sounds you don't forget. A woman moaning your name. A woman moaning someone else's. I didn't burst in. I didn't make a scene. I stood there, frozen, listening as reality rearranged itself in my head. I heard a man's voice. Deeper than mine. Confident. Comfortable. This wasn't new. That was the worst part. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a spontaneous slip. It was practiced. I stepped back before she could see me. My heart wasn't racing the way I expected. It felt slow. Heavy. Like it was sinking inside my chest. I realized something standing in that hallway. I wasn't the other man. I was one of them. And suddenly, I understood her far more than I wanted to. That night, I didn't call her. I didn't text. I went home and stared at my ceiling until morning, replaying every memory, every whispered promise, every time she said I was different. It had happened only once. But once was enough. She called me the next day. Her voice was soft, almost cautious. "You've been quiet." I wondered how many men she had said that to before. I didn't tell her I had been outside her door. Instead, I asked her what she had been doing the night before. There was a pause. It wasn't long. Just long enough. "Just home," she said. "Tired." That was when I realized she was more skilled than I had imagined. The lie came smoothly. No stuttering. No over-explaining. I played along. I asked about her day. I let her laugh at my jokes. I listened to her describe how lonely she felt in her marriage. It was almost impressive. The next time we met, I studied her differently. I noticed details I had ignored before. The way she checked her phone often, but angled it away from me. The way she sometimes drifted off mid-conversation, as if replaying another memory that didn't include me. I wasn't angry yet. I was curious. When we were intimate that evening, I paid attention. She knew exactly how to touch, how to move, how to react. I had once thought that knowledge came from experience within her marriage. Now I wondered how many teachers she'd had. Afterward, as she lay against my chest, she whispered, "You make me feel wanted." The irony was suffocating. I almost laughed. Instead, I asked her gently, "How many?" She lifted her head. "How many what?" "Other men." She stared at me for a long moment, calculating. I could see it in her eyes, the risk assessment. Deny? Deflect? Confess? "You're the only one," she said. The lie didn't even hurt. It clarified. That was when I understood something essential about her. She didn't see herself as a villain. In her mind, this was survival. Validation. Adventure. She wasn't cheating because she hated her husband. She was cheating because she craved being desired. And she was good at it. That night, I almost told her I knew. I almost asked her about the man in her apartment. But I didn't. Instead, I did something worse. I stayed. Because part of me wanted to see how deep this went. I wanted to understand the psychology of it, the hunger behind her eyes, the way she compartmentalized entire relationships. I wasn't just her secret. I was one of many secrets. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, she had never promised exclusivity. I had assumed it. That assumption was my mistake. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. I started noticing her rhythms. She disappeared every few weeks, short, unexplained gaps. She would return with renewed intensity, as if overcompensating. I stopped pretending I didn't know. One evening, I followed her. I'm not proud of it. But I needed confirmation. She met him at a hotel bar. Not the same man from her apartment. This one was older. Well-dressed. Confident in a way that suggested he was used to discretion. They didn't act like strangers. They didn't act like lovers either. It was transactional, but emotional. She laughed at his stories. Touched his arm. Leaned in close. I watched from across the room and realized I had been watching a performance all along. She wasn't addicted to sex. She was addicted to admiration. When she texted me later that night, "I miss you," I didn't respond. Not because I was heartbroken. But because I finally understood the truth, I had never been the exception. I had been the audience. And she was always on stage. I confronted her a week later. Not with anger. Not with accusations. With calm. "I know," I said simply. She didn't ask what I meant. Her shoulders tensed. That was enough. "I saw you," I continued. More than once. For the first time since I'd known her, she looked uncertain. "It's not what you think," she began. "It's exactly what I think." Silence. Then she surprised me. "I never said you were the only one," she said quietly. She was right. She never had. "I didn't lie to you about what I am," she continued. "You just decided I was something else." It was a brutal kind of honesty. She admitted she liked variety. She liked feeling desired. She liked knowing she could walk into a room and leave with someone's attention wrapped around her finger. "And my husband?" I asked. She looked away. "He loves the idea of me," she said. "Not the real me." "And who is the real you?" She smiled faintly. "The woman you saw." There was no apology. That was the moment I stopped loving her. I ended it that night. No drama. No shouting. Just distance. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. She simply nodded, as if relationships were seasons, inevitable, temporary. Months later, she still reaches out sometimes. Casual messages. Late-night nostalgia. I never respond. People ask me if I regret it. If I regret being with a married woman. If I regret catching her. The truth? I don't regret catching her. I regret believing I was special. It happened only once, the moment I saw her with someone else. That one moment was enough to expose everything. She remains anonymous. Her husband still sleeps beside her, unaware of the life she leads beyond his sight. Maybe she's still collecting admirers. Maybe she's grown bored. I'll never know. But I learned something valuable. When someone thrives on secrecy, you are never the secret they treasure. You are just another chapter in their adventure. And once was enough for me. Sometimes betrayal doesn't scream. Sometimes it laughs softly behind a door you weren't supposed to open. This story wasn't about catching her. It was about catching the truth. If this confession made you think, if it made you uncomfortable, if it made you question the idea of being the only one, then you already understand why stories like this matter. There are more secrets to uncover. More confessions to hear. More raw, unfiltered stories told from the shadows. If you enjoy mature storytelling that dives deep into the psychology of desire, loyalty, ego, and human weakness, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the next story? It might hit even closer to home. Thank you for joining me on this raw and intense journey. Stories like these remind us of the thin line between love, desire, and betrayal, and why sometimes, truth hurts more than lies. If you found yourself captivated, shocked, or moved by this confession, your support means everything. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for more gripping, mature stories that dive deep into human emotions and hidden secrets. Your subscription isn't just a click, it's a vote for more stories that make you feel, think, and question the world around you. Thank you for being part of this journey, and I promise, the next story will pull you even deeper. Disclaimer. This story is a work of fiction written for mature audiences. Any resemblance to real people, living or dead, is purely coincidental. It contains themes of infidelity, betrayal, and adult situations intended for readers aged 18 and above. Viewer discretion is advised.